All right, good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day and enjoying the rainy weather. I usually I'm the type because I have a bunch of kids and they love being outside. Usually I enjoy the sunshine. I'm always just saying, rain is kind of okay, it's a rainy day. But we all know it's been really hot and I've been struggling, probably like a lot of you, to keep my garden alive and my grass alive. So God knew that we all need this kind of rain. So really happy. Okay, so yeah, finding joy. So I'm going to kind of explain why this topic, I decided to talk about this. But I was like thinking about, okay, so what kind of message? And this month, I'm going to kind of click through here, has been very busy. I don't know about everybody else, but I had this vision that, I did a lot of traveling. I went to, I was in Mexico, Japan, Korea, New York, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna visit my family in Canada, but that's gonna be in August. So I'll take the next 2 months to kind of just be more, just kind of more chill, the family, local level. And, it just piles up, right? So here's my June. I like last minute, they're like, you actually need to go to Las Vegas. So I was like, okay. So I went to Las Vegas for the weekend and did that. And then there was a gap year program. So GPA is a gap year program that we have, and they were having a reunion. So we hosted 6 people, and by the time everyone came through and left, it was 2 weeks in, and anyways, then they finally left, and we had birthday parties, and then last minute, we had a relative in town, and I was like, okay, we should do a family barbecue. So on Friday, we did a Pehling barbecue, and then we had the yesterday one-day workshop where I was emceeing. It's an all-day thing, and so it was a packed month. And although I was finding a lot of joy, like if you look at that one picture, I'm with a llama. See that one picture? So it's like, one of the birthday parties that died as a little girl wanted llamas at her birthday, and of course, there's the llama. But, so there was a lot of joyful moments, but I also felt myself kind of feeling this like challenge and like not feeling so much joy in like the everyday stuff. When you do something different, like a llama, then of course you're gonna find some joy, right? But when you do the everyday things, and all moms and dads, especially the young families, know when you have kids, it feels like Groundhog Day, like rinse and repeat every day, dishes and laundry and sticky fingers and mess here and mess there. And it's like I just picked up those Legos. The Pokemon cards are everywhere. And I was starting to feel like this lack of I was, not always so easy to feel joyful or grateful in these little things, right? And, I found joy here and there, but anyways, there was that feeling. So I started thinking about, okay, like, what is this joy? What is joy? How do we get it? How do we keep it? How do we be consistent with this joy? And so, what is the secret recipe to attaining joy? And so, here I am, I'm the definition person. I'm like, okay, we need to go back to the root of words. I feel like I say a lot of words just by, little keywords like gratitude, compassion. So I was like, okay, joy. So the emotion evoked by well-being. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah. The emotion evoked by well-being, success, or good fortune, or by the prospect of possessing what one desires. Okay, great. State of happiness. Okay, so everyone kind of knew that. And then I decided to go kind of into our scriptures, into the divine principle, right? And we also talk about joy, and it kind of goes a little bit deeper. And in the divine principle, right in the introduction, the first line, everyone's saying, every human being is struggling to attain lifelong happiness and overcome misfortune. Okay, so it's a common thing. How then does happiness arise? This is my question. People feel joy when their desires are fulfilled, and then it kind of continues on, and then it says, even at the cost of their lives, people seek for the joy that enraptures the original mind. So I kept thinking, I was like, okay, so joy and original mind kind of go hand in hand. And what the original mind is, or at least my interpretation of it, is like your true desire, your God gave each and every one of us our original mind, and so that goodness, the real true goodness within each and every one of us. And I was starting to look also at like, what are other people saying about this concept of joy? And there's a lot of books out there, right? Like How to Seek Happiness, or the Happiness Project, or there's all these different articles and pastors talking about it. And so when I was looking through it, the common thing that they were talking about is that joy is just not just like a feeling. Because feelings just come and go, right? It's like, oh, I'm feeling joyful today, but then some days you don't. But that joy is a choice. Like you have the option to choose in these different moments to be joyful or not. And so I was thinking about this, going back to the original mind in the divine principles, talking about the original mind. And it's like that good voice, right? But we also have that evil mind. I don't like saying the word evil because evil kind of sounds more, anyways. But that other voice, right? You see that always that cartoon. People have one angel and one devil on their side. And I don't know how you guys feel, but I definitely experience that kind of conflict, right? We all probably set goals at the beginning of the year. We're in June now at the end, so we're halfway through. But we'll just say you made a goal, 6 a.m., I'm gonna go running. Okay, 6 a.m. comes up, you hit that snooze button. Okay, you hit it again. And then at this point, you're like, okay, I have to make a choice. Am I getting up or am I not, right? And then you have that voice that's saying, oh, sleep in. You had a busy week. You don't need to run and get all sweaty and it's raining maybe, or it's too hot or something like that. You don't need to run. And then you got the other voice that's saying, no, you should do that. You chose to make this your goal. You will thank yourself. Go out and do that run. You'll feel good, right? And there's that conflict. Does anybody ever have these kind of conflicts in their lives? I have them every day, all the time. The most recent one was the sermon. I was actually supposed to give sermon next week. That was the schedule. But last minute, we decided to do a family vacation over the 4th of July weekend. So I was like, oh, I should switch. Okay, maybe I could do it this week. And, but Ben's like, it's Thursday night. You're gonna choose right now to switch? And I was like, yes, because yes, I am. And he's like, okay, but you do remember you have the Friday barbecue, and then Saturday looks like this. You have the DP workshop, then we have Myra's birthday party, and then we have Carter's graduation. So Saturday's a packed day, and I'm like, I know this. And anyways, after I made the decision, I was, that voice saying, you're not gonna make a good sermon. You're not gonna be able to finish. You're not gonna have any slides. And you should switch back to the other weekend. And then the other voice like, you can do it, And I was like, okay, so this is my opportunity to make a choice, right? To find joy. And one of the pastors that I was listening to, she talked about, she's like, the devil will always try to snuff your joy. And you have to decide to not let him win the game. So I was thinking, yeah, like that's what it is, it's like that choice. Like you have choices in all these different moments to make that right choice, or making the choice to choose joy. So I'm gonna show you a little video that I absolutely love. You guys probably, maybe some of you have seen it. It's the Grandma and Cade baking video. If you have not seen it, I promise you it's worth all your time. It is so cute and so funny, but it's a grandma cooking with her grandson, okay? So I'm just gonna say that and then we'll explain later. Okay.
Cookie. Yeah, all right. Let Nana undo it and then you can throw it in. No eating the butter though, okay? Okay. Okay. Good job, Kate. Kate, we have time to butter. A cup of sugar, okay? Yes. Okay, you ready? Yes. What is this? Sugar? Sugar. Okay, hold it over. Right. Wait, Kate. All right, what's next? After the sugar. Oh, geez. It has to be packed in there, so put it in. Don't eat the brown sugar. Oh my gosh, no. put it in. Oh, yep. No, we don't eat. Oh my God, that's raw egg. Okay, ready? No eating eggs. Crack and put it in. Oh no. What? No, we're not eating flour. Okay. 2 cups. This Cooking with Kate is brought to you by Arm & Hammer. Can you say Arm & Hammer? Pour it in. Cinnamon. Cinnamon. Okay. That's not good yet. 3. Oh, what are you doing? I'm mixing. You're mixing. Next, we put it on the pan and then we're going to put it in the oven, okay? Good job, Kate. Good job. Okay. Let me see how much you got in your mouth. Oh my gosh. Kate, show them what you got in your mouth. Very good, Kate. Cooking with Nana. Yay, cooking with Nana. We can turn it off for now and then turn it back on when we get a batch out of the oven. I never do that. You gonna eat them? Yes. You're gonna eat one? Yes. Oh. Oh. Oh, you're gonna take a bite of each. Oh, for Nana? Thank you. So delicious. Cookie. Yeah. All right.
Give it up to Kate and Grandma, right? I could like honestly cry just like watching it, just from joy. It's so funny. But what a prime example of a grandma. Okay, so you watch this situation, right? And she has 2 choices. She could choose to be really frustrated with cooking with her grandson, right? Like he's grabbing every ingredient, eating everything. He's making a mess everywhere. Or she could choose to be really joyful and create this like beautiful memory with her grandson. And so I just love that video because you could see in her expression, like she's choosing joy and she's like, it is what it is, right? And if anybody's baked with young kids, it could be frustrating, But anyways, she's choosing. And so anyways, I love that video. But anyways, it made me started thinking about, okay, like going back to my busy month and what I was feeling frustrated with, I started thinking, okay, maybe I just have to like really start to like look at all the activities that I'm doing and be more present and see where joy can be found. And I also want to so we're in book club. We are reading this book called Pachinko. Has anybody read Pachinko? Oh, you have? Okay. So it's a good book, and I'm not a reader, but this book is big. I'm only a quarter way done, or maybe 1/3 of the book done. It's like I was shocked when I got to the library to get this book. Usually it's like normal books, This thing was huge, and I was shocked, and all the girls in book club know. But this book is talking about a Korean family that they moved to Japan, but they are occupied by the Japanese. So during this time period, they really had nothing. They were like, the resources were so scarce, like even for them to get a bowl of white rice was like impossible. Like it was so, but they were so living such a simple life, and they didn't have anything. Like they had nothing. They were making a little soup out of radishes, and they're so, but they were finding joys in like little things. And I realized that we've just complicated this whole thing of joy. We've complicated it, thinking that I will be joyful when I have this kind of money. I'll be joyful once I get that promotion, or once I get that XYZ, or when that person does something for me, I'll feel more joy. And we've just really complicated it. So I dialed it back and I started looking at my little tasks that I do and different things. And this week we did something really fun, and we went to the beach. And so this is a picture of Ben and Yuna, it's my husband and my daughter, my youngest daughter, and then we have Emmy and Kanan, and we also have the Culbertson boys because we went to the beach with them. And I kind of just like looked at this picture and I was like, wow, like it's this simple. It's free, we're in nature, and how much joy, like they're having a lot of joy, I'm having a lot of joy watching them have joy, and it's really that simple. And we've complicated it. We've made it feel like it has to be this big thing on a big trip, a big thing, like that. And it's as simple as that. And another moment was at the end, I put the kids to sleep, and Yuki and I, she's our neighbor, we live one house down, and we were just chatting. It was like nighttime, kind of chatting. I was watering some of the plants. And then walked back home, and I saw this. Literally all it is, it's the sun kind of setting, the final light before it's dark behind a cloud. And I was looking at it being like, wow, this is a joyful moment. Like, wow, it's so beautiful. And then I just also realized, like, nature, God is giving us so many opportunities to experience joy just by being in nature. Even just if you ever run in the rain, like it's fun, there's so many opportunities and just through nature. So if you're feeling this like low of joy in your life, I would suggest go out in nature. At least try that, Go in nature, go for a walk, listen for the birds, look at the sky, the sun, all of it. You should be able to feel something, I'm going to show you another picture now. It's going to create some trauma. Um, Especially here in Minnesota, I feel like this is a trigger. But I was showing this picture because I was realizing, this idea of like a choice, right? And sometimes maybe we might be having a hard time experiencing joy, and it might be because we're kind of holding on to some kind of resentment or some kind of thing that happened that's in our hearts that was really hard, and it's hard to let go. And so for me, for a long time, I had a deep resentment, which is a deep resentment to snow. And so a lot of people know, try not to cry, but I lost my brother to an accident because of snow. And my siblings are watching, they're probably crying too, but anyways, but yeah, like I had a deep resentment to snow, which is such a silly thing to be resentful for. Like, how can you be resentful to snow? Like, it's snow, we live in Minnesota, it's like snowing half the time, so, but yeah, I, I hated it. I hated snow, I hated winter, and it was hard. I told Ben I wasn't gonna cry during this part, but yeah, he was young. My brother was 22, and because of bad weather, he's not here. And I remember in that first few years, like, I was like, man, I don't know how I'll ever experience joy again in just everyday stuff because he's not here. So, like, how do you experience that? How do you overcome? And then, yeah, of course, snow rolls around half the year, and it's like, oh, snow again, But I remember Ben telling us, me, it's like, shiz, you can't keep holding on to resentment to snow and stop, he's like, you're gonna roll that to our kids, and you can't just hold on to that. It's kind of like weighing on you all the time, and you can't avoid it. We live in Minnesota, It's like we're gonna have snow, and so you have to, think. Yeah, it is like Minnesota, and so. And he was so right. And I remember thinking about it and be like, I do need to move on, and I need to let this go. I need to let go this burden, this heaviness of snow, and move forward, because it really is snuffing my joy. And it really is, that voice, that negative voice, that Satan saying like, yeah, you should keep holding on to this part of nature because, yeah, you don't need it. But there's so much beauty and so much joy in snow. And I see that now with my own children in the snow. They're playing, making snowman the size of people, right? Like there's so much joy with it. So, if there's something that's holding you back from experiencing joy, I challenge you to figure what that is out and let it go if you can, let it go. So if nature isn't working, if you've let go of that thing that's holding on to you from experiencing joy is not working, then in the divine principle, it says joy is not produced by an individual alone. So then I suggest you to get in front of somebody. Go on a coffee date. Go on a play date, you know. Corbin Angling, he's not here, but he's at the lake cabin. But I just love this because, so before kids, he just loves to travel. He wanted to travel and do this grand tour. He's like, before we settle, have kids, I need to travel around. So for like 7-8 months, he like went around to all of Europe, if you guys remember. And he would come back here and there, but he was gone traveling around. And I remember before he left, I was like, you're going to really miss Rashawn and wish he was traveling with you. And he said, yeah, I know. But he just had to go and travel. So, and Rashawn couldn't join him for the whole thing. So, but when he did come back, he was like, man, Shiz, I remember what you said. And you said that I was really going to miss Rashawn. He's like, and I remember this moment, I'm sitting in a beautiful hill, overlooking this beautiful landscape. It was so beautiful. And he's like, I just remember thinking, man, like, I wish Rashawn was here. That's his wife. I wish Rashawn was here. And it's exactly what they're talking about here, right? It's like, you shouldn't, yeah, joy is not produced by an individual alone. So hang out with people, you know, be around people. And then lastly, happiness is attained with love. So Mr. Schaffler here, he was giving the Divine Principle, the workshop, and he was talking about how this goes hand in hand, happiness and love. And it made me really think about how love is such a packed word, right? But you will feel a lot of happiness when you are giving love, that give and take with love. Like you're giving love to people, you're receiving love, you're making someone feel loved, you're, you know, all this stuff like around that word love, you will feel happiness. So if you're not feeling joy in nature and you've let go of the past and you've, if you've done all the different things and then now you're here and you're like, okay, try this, try loving somebody, try getting out of yourself and doing something for somebody else. And I promise you, you will feel something eventually. You will feel and find that joy. And so lastly, I just wanted to kind of conclude saying, you know, it's not complicated. I think we complicate it all the time. This is a picture of Kanan and Emmy in Florida on the West Coast looking at sunset. And I love that picture, you know, because that's how simple it is. It should be that simple, right? To achieve joy is just by something like being in nature and, you know, looking at what we're doing every day and how can we discover joy. So at least for myself now, just by doing this homework this week of finding joy in the little things, I'm like finding myself like cutting my peppers a little bit more, like, okay, like I'm making dinner for my family. And it's, you know, I'm washing the clothes and folding my clothes for my family. And I know it's not gonna be like all the time. Who knows, by next week I'm gonna forget and be like, I'm doing it again, you know, but the point is that I think we're making that effort of realizing what we're doing and being more intentional about this word joy. So anyways, I hope this kind of helped. Thank you for listening and have a good week. Oh.